Hello, my name is Remy. Welcome to the Forever Home Cat Sanctuary. Today we are going to do a quick Q&A. We have our friend and supporter, Robert. Thank you for joining us. And we are going to answer some of your most important questions. We're going to do after a tour of our sanctuary, and we're going to show you most of the animals that we care for. So for the Q&A, Robert, if you could tell us a bit about yourself, how you found out about us, and how you and Dana are one of our longest time supporters.
Thank you very much. Hi everyone, I'm Robert. I was born and raised in Romania. Actually, my grandmother lived in this place where the shelter is, so I know it very well. And I went for studies to Bucharest, and then I started my professional life there. And this is important because that's where my partner and I had our first rescue. Accidental rescue, a kitten that was abandoned, that was meowing somewhere in the parking lot of our office's apartment building. And so we took him in and we took care of him, and all was good. Except we kept finding other abandoned kittens without a mother whose demise, whose death was pretty much certain unless we rescued them. So we did that throughout, starting from around 2002 until 2010. We rescued a few dozens of kittens, young cats, and some dogs. And for most of them, we actually found a home, so that was good. For those that we couldn't, we kept as our own. We had the opportunity to go to the US, to move to the US in 2010, and took our cats with us. And so, long story short, that first cat lived a happy life until the age of 23. Wow. So, and the others, some of them are still alive. So, in short, my partner and I know a thing or two about the difficulties of rescuing animals in Romania, and the conditions that you find the animals in, and how society relates to the animals. And so, thank you very much for the opportunity to be here today. I found out about you, Remy, back around in 2022, and because I heard that there's this so-called crazy guy that selflessly helped out my parents with one of their ailing cat, and so it really, I was puzzled. How is this possible? And so, I was curious, and I, met you, and I visited the shelter, and I was amazed about the scale of the operation. And as opposed to the, I would say, typical person that finds out about the shelter, actually, with that past experience of doing rescues and successfully, placing them and giving them a chance to a better life, I pretty quickly realized, how efficiently this thing is run, and how important is what you're doing. And so immediately with my partner, we decided, okay, we need to get involved. So, we got into financial involvement and some logistical involvement. So, and that was 4 years ago, more than 4 years ago. And I'm just as a big believer as before, even bigger believer. So I'm happy to be here and always find a place that's, where animals are just really enjoying. And this is like the ideal shelter that everybody believes that how shelter should be. This is it. So, with goods and bads, I mean, pets are difficult to take care of.
We have a lot to improve, so that's a whole other story. So,
Nothing is perfect. Nothing is perfect, but I'm really happy to see so much care and love in this place. And thank you again for the opportunity to organize this Q&A. And I think we should switch roles where I ask the questions.
Exactly.
That you
yes.
are the one answering.
That's right. That's right. I'm gonna answer the questions, and Robert, let's dive into it. Hopefully, we'll answer the most important questions that our supporters have, so that so the kittens are in the background. They're playing. They're all rescued. They're all our cats are spayed, so that's not one of the questions, but we have kittens because they're all rescued, so we don't want to have more kittens, but unfortunately we kept getting phone calls, and that's why we have so many. So let's dive into it.
Okay, let me pick the first question from your fan base, I shall say. What made you decide to start this shelter?
So it wasn't like a decision to start a shelter. So it was basically for 19 years, me and my sister, we live at home with our parents. We had just one cat. So for 19 years, we were not the crazy person with hundreds of cats. We had just one cat, rescued, of course. My sister rescued our tomcat from, he was also winter, a kitten. And we kept him alone because the other rescues that we kept having over the years, we either took to our grandparents, we then started to bring them here, because over the years, of course, we did rescue a few. So there were every year like one or two. There was one covered in motor oil, and so a lot of stories. But so the first big rescues, lots of kittens, we brought them here. This was my dad's vacation house. It was a village house that he bought very cheaply and kept renovating, kept making improvements. And one day we found so how the NGO started basically. One day,
could you please let everyone know what the NGO is?
So the NGO stands for a non-profit organization. It's a non-governmental organization, so it's a non-profit where me and my sister don't have a salary, but we buy the food for a discount. So we started it because a neighbor, we found out later, a neighbor threw a cat with kittens over the fence. And it was a feral cat, Frou Frou. At the beginning, they all had names. We didn't know where to put her. She had 3 kittens, and so we asked our dad if he would give us his vacation house. And it started with 4 cats. Then next week we found a tomcat. We brought him because we had space. We were so happy. Like, how many? 5 cats in a house, it's not much. Then we decided to go to the neighbors to tell them that we're gonna help them spay the cats on our cost. They don't have to pay anything. Just don't throw more cats over the fence. So we went to one neighbor, second neighbor, third neighbor. Then they found out that we helped the cats. They called us when an old lady died right on the corner house. We difficultly caught the cat and brought her in. And then phone calls kept coming in about like 20 cats at the dumpster. That was the biggest at first. So when you first have like 6 cats and you have to bring in 20, it was difficult. So then all of a sudden from 5 cats you have 25. They were with lots of problems. So there was kittens, they developed cancer, like 1-year-old white cats with cancer, with FIV, leukemia, cat AIDS. And then, for like the first year we didn't have that many, so it was like 30 something. They had a much smaller yard, so every year we increased the fence. At first we also had dogs, but not that many. So right now we have like 86 dogs, which is a lot. But then we had but they also came. It's a very long answer. Sorry, I'm gonna try to keep it short.
Yes, please.
So this was the.
It's very fascinating, but
long
I'm
story
sure that
short,
not everybody can follow it.
That's how it started. Next question, because I'm gonna make it too long.
I just want to make a short comment on that. Is it fair to say that the lack of spaying and neutering is one of the root causes of why these shelters are needed in the country?
Yeah, exactly. So if everybody would spay their cat, this problem wouldn't be. So we wouldn't have this many cats. Like yesterday, I got a phone call from an old lady. that she's gonna bring us tomorrow 9 kittens and the mom cats. So it's absurd. People think that we can take in like 1 million cats and they don't have to spay them. I asked, is she gonna spay? No, she doesn't spay the cats. So of course, from one cat in 1 year, she's gonna have 2 or 3 litters. But most people just let the kittens die when they're sick. So most people don't want to pay at the vet, even though in Romania the costs are less than in the US, or I've heard in Germany, like where it's like 5 times more expensive. But it's also about culture. People here laugh when you say that they should spay their cat. The police laugh when, even though there are laws, they tell people they don't have to spay their cats when the law says differently. So it's we try to focus on the animals because with the people it's more difficult. So
you can't rescue everything and everyone and every being. Remy, I have a question related to this.
yes,
Are the videos and photos that you post, are those AI generated?
they're definitely not AI.
You wish.
No. So it's definitely AI can't imagine this many types of cats.
Let's move a bit
so
here, just so that,
It's
you know, the viewers can see. Do they share with the dog or?
yeah.
Yeah.
They don't fight over food.
Yeah. I couldn't believe it that you have 2 dogs among cats, and they
Yeah.
are so chill.
It wasn't intentional, but
Hey,
so
okay.
it was necessary.
You're a good dog.
Yeah. So it's not even that many cats now because they're fed in the morning. It's much worse, or in the winter.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Romania. For those of the viewers that don't know, Romania has a continental climate with 4 seasons, with harsh winters especially, and hot summers.
It can be. Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next question.
Yes.
So, who is funding you, and is it worth it? Do you have a salary at the shelter?
So we don't have a salary. Me and my sister have both jobs, and we also fund the shelter from our own money. But we try to find supporters. You and Dana are some of our biggest supporters, and it's very hard to find financial support. Even like Patreon subscribers for like $3 a month, it's very hard to find one extra. So companies don't much support us. We had like only 2 companies who helped us with cat food and canned food also. But yeah, this is the biggest problem. It's not just for our shelter, but most shelters. How do you sustain an activity that is a non-profit, that is for the animals, that saves lives, and you sometimes at the beginning, before you helped us, we didn't know the next day how we're gonna afford the food, and there still are moments when you don't know if you can afford to buy the medicine for them, when you owe the vet thousands of euros, when everything's uncertain. Today you may have a supporter, but next day maybe you lose him or her. So it's nothing is certain. But this is not how we started. We didn't focus on the money. We first focused on helping an animal, and then we tried to fundraise. So people think that it's the other way around, that you must be a millionaire and that's why you help cats. We're not, but we tried from little. We started from very little, and now we've improved the conditions, and hopefully we can find more supporters.
And besides financial support, do you find value in getting moral support? Do you get people reaching out with positive thoughts? Do you get negative, kind of negative comments from online users? How's the landscape?
Yeah, so hate you get all the time, but you really don't have to focus on that. You shouldn't. So it's you need to develop tough skin, which over the years we have, and we don't even listen to the negative comments. The supporters, so 99.9% of our supporters are like you and Dana, people who actually rescue themselves, who know exactly what it's like. People who, even if they have just one cat, they know what it's like to have huge vet bills, to have a sick cat, which costs a fortune. To buy quality food instead of how some people suggested that we would make a huge money gains if we would just buy the cheaper food instead of why do you have to buy expensive food when we have so many sick cats. So yeah, there are many. Regarding moral support, it helps a lot when people who know what we do and understand it, and yeah, it does help a lot.
Thank you. This is the most common question. Yeah, it was also among the very first questions. How many animals do you have in the shelter?
So on our website, we say 350, 400. It's a generic number. So we don't count them every day because the number, it fluctuates almost every day. So just yesterday, I was called to rescue 2 kittens. Before that, one of our sickest cats died. Before that, we had to rescue 4 other kittens. So ideally, we should have exactly a database, and we're going to work on it so that every animal has a medical file, and we're going to make a system computerized so that everything is very, very up to date. But right now, we're overwhelmed, and we simply can't count them. So basically, we have regarding how many cats, on how much food we have to feed them every day, it's around 350 cats based on the food they eat. Dogs, it's more easier to count, so they're almost a steady number, 86. They rarely are sick. When they are sick, few antibiotics just are enough. We did have the oldest dog die a few weeks ago, but with the cats, the diseases are much more prevalent, and it's the most difficult part at the shelter to take care of the sick cats. So yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So basically, it's a changing number, how many cats we have, but we try to focus more on taking care of them than on counting them every day. But it's not, some, like you said, mean comments. Some person said that, oh, if you say you have more cats, you probably get more help or funding or money, which is not true. I could say I have 1,000 or 2,000 cats. I still wouldn't have more supporters, so it's not really that relevant. It's relevant for us because we're limited in space. You have to keep them in pens, like the kittens right now. Honestly, I don't even know how many exactly the number of kittens. I'm gonna have to vaccinate all of them, so that's when we're gonna know exactly. But like 50 kittens in a few pens, it's really overcrowded. That's the problem. So if people want to remember a number, then it's that it's too much, and we wish we could give them for adoption, which is probably one of the next questions.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But first, we saw some kittens in a cage. So why do you keep cats in cages? Do you get a perverse pleasure from doing it, or actually is there a genuine need to have them in cages?
It's a very common practice. Most, if not everybody who rescues animals keeps the animals in a safe space. You can't leave them like this. They're free when they're healthy, when they're accommodated to the place, not when they're new, when they're scared, when they're sick, when they still need to be quarantined. So like the kittens are not vaccinated, they have to be separated. It's not a perfect quarantine, but it's right now the best thing we have. So we wish they would have bigger spaces for a quarantine, like a room, for example. That would be ideal. We're working on it. We're in construction right now. But these cages, so we clean them every day. We give them clean blankets like 2-3 times a day. We try to keep the condition as best as possible, but keeping them in these pens or cages is absolutely necessary, and everybody who rescues knows this.
Next question. Do veterinarians come to the shelter?
Yes, we had quite a few vets come. Right now we have our main vet who comes frequently. We're lucky to find a person who's dedicated and who actually cares when we have sick animals, which in the past was a very big problem. Even though we paid our past vets a lot of money, so I don't even want to think about the huge sums, but money was not the thing that we could motivate them to come. Even though we had sick animals, we would pay for the trip, for the emergency tax, so there were lots of taxes, but still. Right now we have a good vet. Every time we have an emergency, even if it's Sunday or at night, or a dog is hit by a car in the middle of the road, she picks up the phone. So we're lucky in this way, and many people don't have a vet which is this dedicated.
So it looks like indeed the complexity of the operation of the shelter is actually what scares away most of the vets, and you're lucky to be able to find a few.
No, it's not
No?
the complexity. No, they just don't care about the animals. They only care about money. Most vets, which is unfortunate but true. We had dying animals, and the vets literally did not care. So it's not the complexity. We were kicked out of a vets because they literally told us face to face that I bring too many animals, so they don't want to deal with it. It's just because of the ease. They would rather have people who take in one animal and they charge them a fortune than me with many animals, and that's the reality.
Why do you keep sick cats with healthy ones?
So you shouldn't. That's the basic idea. But we try to quarantine them, to keep them separate. We keep them in pens, especially when we have cats with FIP, with diarrhea, when they're contagious. We keep them separate. We tried so many quarantines over the years. So I took the sickest cats at home in my room. At home we had almost every room with a different sick cat or sick cats, and it wasn't a good enough quarantine. So we do our best, but when you're overwhelmed, it's either you don't take the sick cat from the street, you leave her there to die, or you bring her and you find a compromise. Most of our cats are not sick, so that's what I keep talking about our sick cats, but the reality is that 90% of our cats are not sick, which is a good thing, but we focus 90% of our time on the 10% of the sick cats, so that's why it's difficult.
So earlier you told us about the current number of cats and dogs that you have in the shelter that grew throughout the years of the operation. So what's the plan? How many cats and dogs do you plan to have at the shelter? What's the future gonna look like?
So from the beginning there wasn't a plan. We just tried to help those that needed it the most. So we're currently at maximum capacity, which we almost always said. But like 2 days ago, when you get a phone call that 2 kittens are abandoned in a parking lot, you can't say that we're full, we're not gonna take them because we're full. you know. So we keep making compromises, we keep trying to find solutions, but we don't want to be overwhelmed even more. We're very conscious about the situation. It's not normal to have so many animals, and we try to find ways to improve the shelter, to help find help with adoptions. With the dogs, we did recently give quite a few, the smaller ones in Germany, in very good homes. We're also not giving adoption to everybody because we had a few very bad experiences. So, long story short, we're aware that it's too much, but we're just trying to do our best for them.
I have a hypothetical question. Let's say you had the opportunity to find homes for every single cat and dog in the shelter, and it would be, you know, homes that are vetted and you know, they would be in good conditions, living conditions. Would you have a problem with that? Would you be happy with
No.
that, or you would want to have these many cats roaming around you and to have
No,
this constant job of needing to take care of them?
So if they end up in a better place than here, then I'm all for it. Even though some are here for many, many years. You know, we have a few old cats who are like for 7 years now here. So when somebody comes here to adopt, we always say that first is the kittens. So if you want to adopt, it's the kittens first, because the old cats that are here for 7 years, it's like their home, you know. They're not that urgent as the kittens, which would be much better fit for the adopter and for us also. So, and for the cat as well. So it's but if they end up in a better place than here, then of course. So this is their yard. They have a pretty big green garden where they can roam free.
How large is the property? So, you know, where are the cats and dogs shelters? What does it consist of?
Yeah, so both the shelters are in the same place. Unfortunately, only a very thin, you can hear the dogs in the background.
I do.
There's a very thin metal fence between them, which is definitely not ideal, but it was improvised like most of the place. So they have approximately half a hectare, almost in total. So it's big. The problem is when we have feral cats that get sick. So to find them, it's you have to. They have most of the feral cats are in the, we call it the jungle behind us.
It's a bamboo forest, right?
Yeah, yeah. So they like
With
the
a pond.
quiet. They don't like to be around people. There are quite a few feral cats that probably will never accommodate to human touch, but they're happy. They get good food. When we leave, that's when, especially in the winter, they go in the warm houses. They have two homes. This is the wood cabin, and there's a house with 3 rooms, and they both have like doggy doors, so they can go in and out whenever they please. Yeah. And another fun fact, we have to have the sprinkler system almost all the time on. It's also to clean the place, because the cats do pee everywhere and poop everywhere, almost. So it's not on the grass, but especially it's an ecosystem. So the greenery also helps a lot when you have so many animals. So it's important. It's not like if it would be a desert, it would be horrible. Like, because this is all sand hill. But without lots of water and greenery, it would be really horrible here. Yeah.
Okay. Do you do adoptions?
Yes, we give cats and dogs to adoption, but it's process that we have to vet the person that adopts. So we don't give them to anybody. So we do have people from Romania who just want the cat for to catch mice and rats, and then if the cat dies, then they don't care, they get another cat. So we don't deal with people like that. And responsible people are very hard to find. So basically, from the first questions, I already know what kind of person that is. And recently, we did give 2 kittens to someone we personally know. They're in a very good place, a responsible person who takes care of them just like we would. They're strictly indoors because we don't give them to somebody who just says that the cat is missing. That's important to, and we use adoption contracts. Our dogs are given in Germany and Austria through another NGO who they vet the person, which is a good thing because we trust them, and all our dogs ended up in very good places.
Yeah, I have, our experience with my partner and I, and my experience with vetting the adoptive persons for a cat is it's really important, because although I do believe that most human beings are fundamentally good and they want good, I have just a brief example of, at some point we were trying to find home for a beautiful black kitten. Actually, we had a litter of kittens, and we had someone interested that they specifically wanted a black kitten. I said, it's great. We love black kittens as well. But actually it turned out that they were cult members, and they had some very creative thoughts about what to do with that kitten, unfortunately. It horrified me, but yeah, that's the reality. And I'm sure you have your own horror stories.
Well, we do
that would scare most people.
We do, and I used to be very naive. So I understand when people don't trust NGOs, so I definitely don't trust most people, because we had. So I went to people's homes. I bought for the cat, or a handicapped cat with 3 legs. So they were the person who called me for the cat. That was the first thing that I thought that, well, they care about the cat in the winter next to a dumpster. She has only 3 legs. Okay, I caught her. We took her to the vet. And 2 weeks later, they put the 3-legged cat back in the street. And it took me more than a month to retrap her. And now she lives at home with us. She's a very fat cat now. But yeah, so it's that's just one of the many negative stories. So yeah.
How much does the shelter cost per month to run? What are the expenses, the monthly expenses to run the shelter?
It depends month to month. Sometimes we postpone the vet bills. Sometimes we have to buy a lot of food up front. Sometimes we have unexpected bills. It's usually between 8 and 15,000 euros, especially now that we started to do some construction, which everybody says, including my dad, that you only start building when you have money. But we started out of necessity. The quarantine room, which we're gonna go to, is full to the max. And like, we have some cats there and they're locked in a room for more than a year now. So thanks to some very kind people, we were able to start this project with the quarantine garden, and hopefully we're gonna finish it soon, but it's taking a very long time. So yeah, it depends. On our website we tried to be as transparent as possible with making a list of approximately how much food costs, how much vet bills are monthly, just things that people don't even think about, like just paper towels, just that is between 200 and 300 euros per month, which seems like a huge waste, but it's absolutely necessary when you have to clean. or the just cleaning supplies, just detergents. Yeah, just on the gas that I have to drive 1 hour to the vet and 1 hour back, almost 3 or 4 times a week. Or when I get calls for sick cats that are very far away. So it's things that you wouldn't think to add up, but these little things add up, and that's why it's so much. Salaries, me and my sister don't have them, but we had to employ a few people to help us with the cleaning. Right now with the construction, there are some things that I simply cannot do alone, and some things like laying the tile, somebody knows much better than me. Like installations, the electrical, plumbing, and things like this are, you should always hire a professional, even though for years I did it myself and then had to redo it 3 times. So think of, if you think back, it would have been cheaper from start to hire somebody professional, but when you don't have the money, you DIY it and hope for the best.
So tell us about the costs. What is most needed currently at the shelter?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I think the most important thing right now is taking care of the ones that need the most help, the sick cats, and truthfully, those are the biggest costs. So if we would have only healthy cats, we wouldn't have this many costs. The most needed things are well, for infrastructure, to keep the house clean. That's why we're trying to put tile. Medical equipment, which I just recently took a 3-year loan for the device that's gonna, for a biochemistry analyzer to test the cat's blood. And so these are things that are gonna make an impact for the sickest cats. Most needed things. So food is on top list, and we managed to make a supply for like, I don't know, maybe 6 months or something like that. So that's something that's huge. When in the past we literally were week to week or day to day. So if you think about what an animal shelter needs the most is food, right? Medical is would be second, because after you have food, you have to take care of the sick cats. Bills, we postpone some, so our vet lets us postpone bills. But I think for the future, to improve the shelter, to make it more clean, more decongestive, so that it's not so crowded. And the medical part is, I think, the most important one, because we had too many cats with illnesses that maybe could have been treated if we would have better conditions, more meds, a vet on site. Many said that how much we pay our vet, we could have a vet clinic here. So we could pay the salary of the vet with the money that we currently spend, but we don't have infrastructure for a vet clinic. So slowly we're gonna try in the future to having, like, almost with the dogs, almost 500 animals in one place. If you would have a vet here and a clinic with a clean space, I think that's the thing that we're striving for in the future.
Are there any specific needs related to the seasons? I'm particularly thinking of the harsh winters that you get in this part of Romania with, proper snow, and minus 10, 20 degrees Celsius depending on the winter, which is like 10 Fahrenheit or 10, 15 Fahrenheit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so for the winter, we don't yet have a wood supply, but we're gonna, so the cats have 3 fireplaces, which it's run on wood, which is not super expensive. Per winter, it's like 1,500 euros for the wood, if it's not a super cold winter. And we should have made that in the summer. Responsible people do that, but we're postponing it. But yeah, that's the winter resource wood, basically, that we have firewood.
Simi, could you tell to us and the viewers a short intro about yourself?
Okay, I'm the president to the Forever Home and also accountant to this ONG. And my job is to make everything to work financially and everything.
Yeah, I remember having long discussions with Simi about how this is all being run and what are the legal frameworks for that. Given that it's pretty much it's like a business, it's a non-profit, but still it's a business, and so there's a lot of complexity to that. So yeah, thank
Yes,
you.
it's like a business, but no profit. The profit is here, the cats, and for us, her happiness is the biggest profit.
So Remy, tell me, do you look at other shelters that are, I don't know, just larger or better funded? Do you, talk to them, learn anything about what they're doing? How does the landscape look like?
Yeah, so I collaborate and talk to many others. Some have smaller shelters, some have bigger ones. So I get along with a lot of them. So I visited quite a few shelters, mostly because even at first I thought I wasn't doing something right. When you can't find any support, when your animals are dying and not even vets don't want to help you. So I definitely went to like one of the shelters I went to visit, and they helped us with food like 5 years ago or 6 years ago. It was the biggest shelter of dogs in the world. It's in Romania, it's Meura. It's funded 100% by Germans. They have 100 employees. They have like 6,000 dogs, and they have almost as many cats as us. But you see the good side and the bad side of others, how they do it. I don't want to criticize others because everybody has difficulties, but I definitely saw things that we could also improve. Like recently I was to a wildlife animal shelter. I know the founder, Ovidiu Roșu. He's a good friend of mine, and he's a vet. So they do it at a much more professional way. So every single time an animal is introduced to the shelter, it's not a shelter, it's a rehabilitation center. What they do, they release the wild animals in their habitat after they cure them. So they make a medical file for every single animal. They have much more people helping them. So that's the downside here, that we don't have vets or volunteers, or they have like 10 vets on call. So we're gonna try in the future to make it more professional, to improve, and there's definitely lots of room for improvement. Fundraising wise, I asked a lot of them how they do it. Some people don't answer. It's like you're trying to steal their supporters. It's not about that. I personally recommended my supporters to support other shelters, because of course there's others who need it more, or I don't know. So I also have sick animals, but they also do. It's not like some people don't need help, others do. It's not like that, but the funds are limited, and like there's a guy in Tunisia who helps cats. My supporters have been helping him for years, which means that we don't have to take from our animals to give there, which is a huge help. There's a girl in Craiova who also has like 70 cats in her apartment. She rescues all the time. She has an NGO. We talk about diseases that like FIP. She treats them also. So it's you definitely should collaborate with others to learn to help each other. Yeah, so we've helped shelters when we got lots of food. We gave some to them. We helped other shelters with cats that they couldn't take in, so we took a few in from them. And yeah, this is how we collaborate.
So you have pretty much, besides knowledge, you also have knowledge of the other major shelters. You also actually have close relationships and collaborations with them, throughout everything.
Yeah, like locally, for example, there's an NGO who rescues dogs. Who I couldn't go to the other city for a kitten that was thrown out, and I called them, and they went instead of me. So it's a huge help when you know you can rely on somebody, because we basically don't have volunteers. We don't have. We have, like, I could count on one hand people that I can call and say, we have an emergency, can you help? So basically it's help in that regard is very, very hard to come by.
This next question from the viewers is actually also, I relate to it. So TNR, Trap and Release. If you can explain what that is and why don't you do it? Wouldn't it be a huge money saver for the shelter?
Yes, so it's a very common practice, TNR, Trap, Neuter, Release. Most people around the world do it, most NGOs. So especially in countries where the streets are full of cats, you they're feral, you can't catch them with your hand. You have to set a trap. Once you trap the cat, you took him or her to the vet, gets spayed and neutered, and most of the times, as soon as the operation is done, they put the cat back on the street, which if you have like thousands, tens of thousands, you can't take 10,000 cats to your backyard. So I understand that. But the reality is that most of the cats, especially some vets, don't even wait for the cat to wake up. They just put her back on the street. The sad truth is that the animals that live in the street have very short lives, but spaying and neutering is essential. So I'm not against that. I'm for trap and neuter, but not for the release. I'm for finding a better solution, because animals in the street, they don't have a long life, they don't have a good life. When they die in the street of disease, people don't see that. So many people that I've talked to, they say, oh, look how many healthy cats. Yes, you see the healthy cats in the street, but you don't see the ones that crawled in a gutter to die, or the ones that had a litter in a basement. You don't see them, On the streets, you see, especially tourists in Greece, in Turkey, in Rome, You see the happy cats, sure, but the sad parts, you don't see them. Tourists, they feed them, they say, oh, how happy cats. But that's not true. And in civilized countries, you don't see animals in the street. And that's something that every NGO should try to do.
For the next questions, I'd like the two of us to get in the trenches, literally.
Okay,
so
and
let's try to navigate through lazy cats.
Let's explain this. So this is still in construction, where we also have volunteers in the trenches. Yeah, it's okay. So we're gonna pour concrete tomorrow. It's gonna be by hand, so it's gonna be a lot of fun. This is gonna be the wall. It's gonna be as tall as that, but there are gonna be 2 windows and a door. And this small yard is gonna be where the kittens and the quarantine cats are gonna be. So this is the quarantine garden, and we can move that way, right? And this part is going to be the deck, and instead of a window, we're gonna have a door. So if you care to see, these are the quarantined cats, and we also have kittens in here. So instead of this window, there's gonna be a door, hopefully in the next month or two. And inside, there are like I think almost 70 cats in one room, which is way too overcrowded, but it's absolutely necessary to keep them safe and separate. So this is my biggest tomcat. He's a rescue from a village, but he's super happy here.
How do you manage the budget, and do you think there's a lot of lot of money wasted on, I don't know, things like expensive, items such as tiles or cat food? I mean, you have a huge garden, so do what do you think are the wastes, and what do you think you could do to control those?
Yeah, so budget-wise, it's me and my sister. We often fight because, well, you have to manage the money somehow so that for the sick cats, we try to buy the absolute best things possible. Things that were probably wasted over the years were like when we tried to buy a robot vacuum cleaner, which we found out later that it doesn't work in a cat shelter. It's not useful. We didn't have help with cleaning, so my sister always had to get back to work, and we tried that. That was wasted money. So, like for example, the tile. Some people commented that we could have bought a cheaper one, and it's true, but we wanted something that's glass-like so that you can clean it easier. And keeping a clean shelter is like the most important thing, especially when you have sick cats. So that's why we still clean like more than 8 hours a day, 2 people. And in the weekends, it's like we have 3 people. And it's still one of the most time-consuming things, most expensive things. We have to buy so many cleaning supplies. Regarding other items, food-wise, for the healthy cats, we don't buy the absolute best cat food possible because they're healthy. They don't need the absolute best, but it's also not the cheapest because you don't want to get more sick cats. Then, so we try to have a balance between healthy food and my sister is much more frugal than me. That's why we fight, because sometimes I want to spend more on things that I think are necessary, and then she says they're not necessary. So it's a back and forth, especially when the budget is very low. Like the garden, for example, the very expensive thing is to have the sprinkler system running, so it's electricity wise is very expensive monthly, but you literally cannot have a yard with so many animals and without water, because they do their needs in the garden, in the sand. Like here, for example, it's just sand, so it's horrible, but where there's grass, you need the sprinkler system.
So it maintains also the cleanliness of the place by the water that kind of, washes everything.
Of course. So it's like an ecosystem. You need to have a balance. For example, one expense, which my dad says that it's super wasted money, and many people would think it's waste, the wood pellets that we use in the litter box. So that cost is, we have to buy one pallet every week. And one pallet costs 400 euros. So that's almost 2,000 euros a month just on wood pellets, which after we use them, so after the litter boxes gets dirty, we have like 20 litter boxes, they're stainless steel, we dump it in the garden, and the wood still decomposes, and the bacteria and the fungi kills the bacteria like E. coli. So it's super helpful to have wood matter decomposing in the garden, because then you have fungi, which kills the bacteria, and you don't want bacteria. So a watered garden with lots of organic matter is very, very helpful in such an, it's basically an ecosystem, so that's that's why the garden also looks good. a lot of people, that's the first thing people see. It's, oh wow, what a great garden with happy cats. So the maintenance is also, so yeah, but these are, I think, are vital for the health of the entire sanctuary.
How come do you know so much about, you know, plants and ecosystems?
So I'm a biologist and I majored in fungi. So it's that's why it's something that is very interesting to know that, especially when you have so many animals. E. coli is a very dangerous bacteria, and it's fungi basically are the thing that decomposes the most harmful things in nature. So from petrochemicals to harmful bacteria, you definitely want you need fungi in a stable ecosystem, in a healthy ecosystem.
So you don't just look like you know what you're doing, you actually have a paper to prove that you know
Well,
what you're doing.
I'm not a big fan of papers. I think it's more important
diploma.
what diploma. Yeah, I think it's more important to do something than to have just papers. But yeah, it's something that I used to, well, like with the plants, for example, we have 3 greenhouses, because like 20 years ago I built them myself, and that's why we have like medicinal plants from basil, mint, catnip, fennel, and the cats love it. So some cats smell of mint, some cats of basil, because they sleep in the bushes. So
And I think that it's important that you have this knowledge, because I think most viewers don't realize when you run any operation at scale, it comes with problems that are hard to foresee when you are doing it at a small scale. But in this case, you have a huge responsibility, because if you make a bad decision in terms of the bacteria or infections, then you're actually risking the lives of the animals that you're trying to save.
yes. So it's something that people don't think about when they have a few cats. But when you have like hundreds of cats or animals in one place, it's infectious diseases are a very big problem, and we definitely. So wood pellets, I recommend everybody to use that in their litter box. It's not, even if you don't have a garden to compost it, for example, it's still a way better material than bentonite, for example, which is mineral based.
This is what makes the
clumps,
litter
yeah,
clumping.
the clumps, yes, because that's inorganic. You know, the wood also absorbs the smells better. It's so we clean it. In the past, you don't have time to scoop from every cat. You know, you just dump the entire litter box when you need to clean it here, because at this scale, even if you have employees who help you with the cleaning, when you have to clean 20 litter boxes at a time, they have to be stainless steel. You have to disinfect it with lots of alcohol, like 90%.
Medicinal
90,
rubbing
yeah,
alcohol.
Rubbing
Yeah.
alcohol, exactly. Yeah. So that's why these are all things that we try to keep clean. Again, with it has to be basically like a hospital. We try to run it like a hospital, even though we're still a long way from that.
Let's go inside and let's take a look at
Of
what
course.
this main house is
Yes.
about.
So they have doors that they can use. Sometimes they fight over who comes in, who goes out. So it's still in construction, but hopefully by next year it's gonna look better. So yeah, there are 3 rooms. We have some of our sickest cats in these pens. So those all 3 have infectious peritonitis, FIP. They're on treatment. At first they didn't show all the symptoms. So one of them had the jaundice, The other one just a very, very bad case of stomatitis and start to have diarrhea. One major way of diagnosing the disease is from blood tests, from the Ag ratio, albumin-globulin ratio. If it's under 0.6 or under 0.4, then it's most likely this disease. You can, in medicine, it's not an exact science, so you can say 100% every time. But if you see that the animal is getting better from a few doses of the antiviral, like the GS, then you know exactly that's the problem. Many times you get two diseases at the same time, which also the vet says it's very hard then, because you diagnose one disease, but you also have to give them antibiotics next to the antivirals, IVs, and like the best food possible, recovery food. My sister just today has to bottle feed them with a syringe because they can't eat on their own. So yeah, some from the lower ones are much better doing, they're eating on their own. And we have one who is skin and bone, who's not reacting to the medicine at all. So it's very crowded. So 4 in one pen is too much. 2 of them are gonna be taken for tonight back in the quarantine room. Like him, for example, he's doing much better. You can see it. So usually when a cat is doing better, they're upbeat, they eat, they're not lethargic.
And speaking of FIP, you made many posts about the cats with FIP and the expensive GS treatment that you administer. Don't you think euthanizing them would be more cost effective?
So yeah, cost effective, it definitely would be. We had the vet in the past who said we should euthanize all of the very sick cats. So that was coming from a vet. We changed that, obviously, after that. With this disease, the first cat that we had, we couldn't afford it, the GS, which is very expensive. He died, and then we tried everything possible to save the ones that we can. Yeah.
So is the success rate of the GS treatments make you say that it's worth doing it?
Well, it is. It used to be bigger success rate. It used to be like 70%. Now recently it's like 50%. Even the producer from China said it's because the virus mutated. So it's a relative from the COVID virus. It's a coronavirus also. But in humans, the coronavirus had a mortality rate of 2%. In cats, with treatment, it's 50% mortality with treatment. So if hopefully, if in humans, if this would be, it would be catastrophe, because well, for 2% it was a catastrophe, as we can all remember. But yeah, we try to cure all cats, and we do call the vet if there's absolutely no chance of recovery. Like we had cats with cancer that were in pain. Of course, they were humanely put to sleep. But the ones that have a small chance of recovery, we try to save them.
So in the end, you own the shelter and you decide if you are taking the expense and in the end huge trouble to try and save certain ones, because like you said, you still, even now, you have the odds of saving half of the sick cats.
Yes, we had cats that got thousands of euros of treatment and they still died. So it's not, I'm not sorry about the money. I'm sorry I didn't have more money, so that maybe I could have tried other treatments also. So that's not what I'm, definitely don't have regrets in wasting money for treatments. Like most people who had a sick cat, they hoped they could have done more.
I think many pet owners sooner or later will will come to the difficult decision whether to do chemotherapy for a cat or
Yeah.
dog with cancer. We've been there and we decided to do it. Is it the right decision? It's
You
a
don't
personal
know.
choice.
You don't know.
It's a personal choice.
Yeah.
So I think most pet owners, or I wish they wouldn't have the reality of needing to face difficult decisions whether to do a chemotherapy for their pet. My partner and I have been in that situation, but also PIF treatment is a personal decision, and with that success rate, which is much higher than chemotherapy even now, I think it's worth it. And this lady that was kind of biting me is a living example.
Exactly.
So can you tell us
yes.
about her?
So they were three twin kittens, all white with orange. She's the girl, and there were two boys. And out of the three, they all three had FIP, with symptoms like diarrhea, jaundice, and very, very red gums, with lethargy. And out of the three, she and her brother survived, and one of them died. But so that's more than that's like 75% success rate. So it really depends. You can't really say statistically how many you can save, but if you try, 2 out of 3 very, very sick kittens. So she's like only 1 year old, so she's still looks like a kitten and acts like one too. Yeah, but now she's super healthy, happy.
I'm witness to that. She's been very playful with me and here trying
she has been.
Bite me. Yes. Remy, can you tell us what's this room that we're in?
Yes, so this is the quarantine room. This is where we keep our cats in quarantine. Cats that are either sick or new. So it's very crowded, but it's basically, other than home where we also keep quarantine cats, it's basically the only place where we can at the shelter keep them other than in pens. So that's why we're trying to expand this place to give them better conditions. But here they are safe. They are inside, so they don't stay outside in the rain where they keep catching colds. For example, like this tomcat, he's been with us for 3 years. He's just been recently again put in the quarantine because he always catches a cold. He's positive for cat HIV, which is means that his immune system is very weak, and he always gets an infection, a cold, pneumonia. He had several times. He's almost always on antibiotics, not always, but when we see that he's getting better, we take him off antibiotics. But just a little bit of pus from the nose is not right now a reason to give him again antibiotics. But he's happy, and they do get along quite well, even though there are very, very many in here.
Yeah, you mentioned that this place is crowded, so, and this is a tough question. How much is too much? When will you reach the point that you say that you just can't take more cats and dogs in anymore?
Yeah, so we're refusing daily. So I get phone calls because people got to know we have a shelter and we rescue animals, and I get phone calls every single day. I have to refuse most of the cases. But when they tell you that an animal is literally dying in the street, hit by a car, or an abandoned kitten on the side of the road where absolutely nobody stops to get her, those are situations where you can't say no. But when people say that they have in their own yard their own cat who had a litter and come get the kittens, we clearly say no from the start and close the phone. So it's we definitely know when to say no, and we help only the cases that otherwise would die.
So do you get any visitors? Do you get any volunteers? How does it look like?
Yeah, so visitors, we get a few. Usually we like to get the visitors who are like us, like you, for example, who rescue animals, because people are curious. But we had some visitors, some bad experiences. People came with their children, which we were not opposed to, but the children started to kick the cats, and the parents were laughing. So those are visitors that we would not like to welcome again. But otherwise, people who are like us, who love animals, we of course allow visitors, and maybe in the future it would be a good idea to have a shelter with better conditions, to open it to the public, to be like what you see in Japan or in much more modern countries where people visit, and maybe they would help sustain the shelter in some way, because that would be maybe a sustainable way to keep the shelter going. And regarding volunteers, not many, and like visitors, we had disappointments. Some volunteers came just because they were curious, but it was a one-time thing. The people you can rely on are the people that we hired after many vetting, and they are people that, I talked to other shelters, also said this, that the people that you can rely on are people that are employees, you pay them, but they are like volunteers, so they come for the love of animals, but they also have to sustain their family in some ways. But otherwise, volunteers, not really. Yeah.
All right, so thank you, Remy, for spending the time to answer all these questions from the viewers and from myself. I want to thank to you and Simi about for the work that you're doing in this shelter. It's extremely heartwarming to see kind-hearted people devoting their lives to the betterment of cats and dogs that face certain death, and it's inspirational to come and visit and see all the love that's here, and all the happy creatures that scratch on my legs and bite my hands. And thank you so much for doing this, and I'm really happy to see that such people exist on this world, and I hope that you'll be able to continue doing this for a very, very long time to make a huge impact.